Hey, it's the Pool Fanatic Show. Yes, indeed. If you were outside any of the past 3 or 4 days, you had to be excited about that swimming pool in your backyard. Look how beautiful it is. Wait a minute. You say you don't have a pool in your backyard? You need to get a pool. You need to get there. This is the Pool Fanatic Show, and we're taking your calls right now for Tony Caruso. He is the Pool Fanatic. 844-220-0965. 844-220-0965. If that pool is now just a whole bunch of green gunk in your backyard, you've got a problem, Jack. So give us a call right now at 844-220-0965. You can text Tony at 21232. So, Tony, you have a special guest in the studio today.
I do, but Rob, who is watching the children today?
Not very happy about this past week.
No.
What was it, 2 cars or just 1 car that was taken by a carjacker with a baby in the backseat? Where was Mom?
Not good.
Where was Mom? What was she doing?
No, I don't know. Well, you know what they said she was doing? She was out. She left the car running, went in the house to check on another child before she left. Never leave your car unattended in the state of Florida or anywhere in this world with your car running and your child in there. Like we talk about, Rob, we cannot replace our children. I can replace anything else. Sorry, I can't replace my wife, my kids, and all that, but I cannot replace my family, loved ones. True. Like we talk about your wallet, Rob. You ready to give me that wallet?
You can have the wallet.
All right.
There you go.
I might not give it back to you, but I bet you can replace it, right?
That's right, because I'll take yours and I'll buy dinner.
Oh, my gosh. And I'll take yours and buy me a new Lincoln Continental. But Rob, 2 weeks ago, we had a very unfortunate incident in Volusia County.
Yes.
Preliminary reports are, to me, it's totally unacceptable. If someone is going to watch your children, that needs to be the absolute best decision you've ever made in your life. Right. You need to make sure that child is not going to go off, or the person watching your child is not going to go out and do whatever and not pay attention to your kids. But today, I have an honored special guest. All right, I'm going to try to do this one time and see if I get it right. I have today a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, a 5-time world champion swimmer, an 8-time Pan American gold medalist. Oh, let's see here. He's voted in the International Swimming Pool Hall of Fame, U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame, Alabama Sport Hall of Fame, Florida Sports Hall of Fame, 1982 McDonald's Spirit Award, 2007 NCAA Silver Award, and the Southeast Conference Athlete of the Year, 1981. My friend, Mr. Rowdy Gaines. How are you doing today, buddy?
Wow. Tony, what's up, buddy?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. This is a beautiful Florida day. What else could you ask for?
Well,
this is
maybe a little bit more sunshine, but other than that, it was a nice day today.
It was.
Could use a little bit more rain to kind of hold the dust down.
That's coming tomorrow.
That's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
I got a little baseball game tomorrow. Hopefully, get it in before the rain comes in, because baseballs and water don't go around too well. Which, speaking of water, man, we were all born to swim. We swam for 9 months before we came into this world, and you got acclimated to the water very quickly. And what age did you start swimming?
Well, I didn't start swimming competitively until I was 17 years old. I was a junior in high school when I went out for my high school swim team. I did swim on a little country club team when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old. But I didn't really start swimming seriously until I was 17. But I learned how to swim literally before I learned how to walk. I grew up in Winter Haven, Florida.
Well, you're born in Winter Haven.
Yeah.
You went to school in Winter Haven.
Yeah.
You graduated the same year I did. Yeah. We'll leave that out for now.
Absolutely, leave the year out.
But you went right out of high school, right to college,
right.
And you went to Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of my friends that went to Auburn. So when the Auburn-Alabama game comes up, it's I'm splitting.
Big War Eagle.
Yeah. So when you went to college, you went to Auburn. Did you go there on a swimming scholarship, or did you go on a?
Yeah, I did a swimming scholarship. I did. As I said, I didn't start until it was very late in high school as a junior, so I wasn't very good until the end of my senior year. And by the end of my senior year, I started getting a little fast and being recruited. But all the way through my high school years, I was not recruited by any colleges, except for Auburn. Auburn was the only one that kind of came out and said, hey, we believe in you. The coach there, who, by the way, has been a multi-time head Olympic coach. He's won 12 NCAA titles now at Texas. He saw something in me when he saw me swim and said, hey, we want you to come to Auburn.
And what would he see in you? That's a good question. What would he see in you that would make you go, okay, this guy's got potential? Is it the size of your wingspan?
I think
your height?
There's a lot to it, and you just mentioned a couple of things.
Yeah.
Height, the wingspan, the feel for the water. I think the natural ability. He never assumed anything as far as the pure speed I had in the water, and he never worried about that. He never was concerned about how fast I went as a high schooler. He just determined things based on the longevity I had been swimming, and which was not long. Obviously, I had just been swimming for about a year and a half.
And you're very aerodynamic. You're very, very aerodynamic.
Right.
I mean, so when someone's looking at the skills that you have, obviously they've got to make sure that you can walk with coordination, because if you can walk, obviously you can move your arms and your legs somewhat in a fluid motion.
But that's not true in swimming.
It's not true. So what's true in swimming?
I'm the biggest klutz on land there is.
Okay, so
My wife might disagree. She says I'm pretty good on land, but I'm not a very good athlete. I'm marginal at everything else, but I guess the easiest way to say it, and I've said this before, is the fact that I feel more comfortable in the water than I do on land.
Do you really?
Yeah, I've always felt that way. It's always been sort of my sanctuary to be able to be in the water, whether it's just floating around with my children and grandchildren, or if it's actually doing swim laps. I just feel comfortable in the water.
So when you went to college, on a swimming scholarship. You obviously started swimming immediately. Mm-hmm. When did you start winning?
Well, I think I started realizing I wanted to be an Olympian the day I started swimming.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, it was a sort of a pipe dream back then, but it's the day I started was the day I had this vision of I really wanted to excel. I wanted to, the main thing for me was to try to get a scholarship to alleviate that stress on my parents. But it definitely moved into a fact that I really wanted to be an Olympian. And the end of my senior year in high school, I won my state meet. By the end of my freshman year, I'd broken my first world record. So it happened very fast. Within 2.5 years, I had broken my first world record. So
wow, whose record did you break? And what did you break it in?
It was actually the first world record I broke individually was 1980, and that was about 3.5 years after I started. The first world record I broke was on a relay. We broke the Russians' world record.
That was a 4x800
free relay, and then we broke another one, the 4x100 free relay, which was an American relay that they had broken in '76 at the Olympic Games.
Wow! So the smile on your face. Look. I've been playing sports my entire life,
right.
and I know the feeling it is to win. Win, lose, or draw, I have fun no matter what I do, because at my age, there's no glory in it's just having fun.
Right.
But for you, I cannot imagine. I actually get the goosebumps for a second here to think about, what it would feel like to be in a team sport, because that's what you were at that time. When you were in a 4x, you're a team sport.
Absolutely.
And then
Two of my gold medals in the Olympics were with a team.
Okay,
relays.
So when you win as a team, the family comes together.
Yeah.
But you have to know that when you're swimming with 3 other guys from around the country, obviously, did you know any of them before you swam?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean all the relays I've swum and been a part of, whether they were world records, whether they were a college record, or they were gold medals in the Olympics. All those guys I knew and had been swimming with or against,
right,
for years. So some of them you like better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you're more friendly with.
Sure.
But as you said, when you come together on that relay, you're one. You have to be one. You have to be a family. It's no different than any other sport that is a team sport, or any other activity for that matter. A basketball team has to come together as one, even though there's 5 different individuals if you're going to be successful.
So when you're out practicing, because obviously you got to practice. Practice makes perfect. When did you feel you were clicking as a group? Obviously it can't be the day you swam for the medal. You had to have some confidence coming into that, knowing that, hey, we're pretty doggone good, and if we just stay focused on our task at hand, we'll do well.
It depended on the relay, Tony, because if I was swimming in college, it was every day. You know, our collegiate relays that we swam on, I mean, that was every day working together as a unit. If it was something like the Olympics, you know, you don't have that chance to train with all those guys because they all come from different teams. Not necessarily, but in my situations, they came from different teams. So you really only get a chance to do that during the training camp.
Gotcha. Which is how
about
long?
A month long for the Olympics. Yeah, you make the Olympic team, then a month later you go to the Olympics. So you have that month to bond and get together, to swim with each other, to train each other, to work off of exchanges, because when the swimmer comes into the wall, the next swimmer goes in. So you work on those little things, those little minute details.
Timing.
Yeah, the timing is everything.
Are we talking thousandths of a second or hundreds? Because look, when someone touches the wall, there's not a lot of time between they touch that. You have to be paying attention to the wall and then taking off at the same time. So it's like drag racing. Yeah. If you're not watching the tree come down, you're going to blink. You're late.
That's right.
You can't do that.
You're an athlete, so you know that timing is everything. And in swimming, it's very black and white. There's no gray. You know, we have diving and gymnastics, amazing sports, wonderful sports. There's a gray area, and with swimming and other sports like that, it's whoever touches the wall first. And that wall could be within 100th of a second. Michael Phelps won a gold medal in 2008 by 1/100th of a second, which is you're half of a little fingernail traveling at that speed.
Unreal. Your first individual award, your first individual medal or gold medal, what was that in?
The relay for the Olympics, it was the 100 freestyle.
100 freestyle. Yeah. How did you feel going into that, besides the butterflies and all that, and getting yourself geared up, because you have to mentally prepare yourself that day? I'm pretty sure you do, because when I go into knowing that we're down to the wire, this is it. We either win or we go home. Yeah. How do you feel that day? How do you feel prepared? It's a long day.
It was a long day. I had been up really early. I got up like 3 or 4 in the morning and couldn't sleep, but it was a long day. But it all turned out pretty good.
Very cool. We have such a great honored guest with us today. It is so cool to have him in our studios. This is among the best ever. 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965, a world champion, an Olympic champion, and he's right here in the Pool Fanatic pool in our studio.
Sitting right next to me. Our phone number is 407-282-4911. Visit us at tcwaterfeatures.com. Like us on Facebook, where amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Wait till they find out we took the performance studio and filled it with water. I think we're in trouble. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Join us on the Pool Fanatic Show, News 96.5 WDBO. Well, I'll tell you what, our special guest today, when it comes to a sport, swimming, this is a man who has given back 1,000,000%, working to make sure that every child can get a swimming lesson, can go along and good. But I got a question for you, Rowdy.
Yes, sir.
Most of the people, and you know this, most of the people that you met in the Olympics, their parents had them on a beam, or had them on a skate, or had them doing something from the time they were 3. Some of them hated their parents for it. Here in just a few short years, you discover, I'm good in the water, I'm fast in the water, I love being in the water, and you shoot almost immediately to the top. Were there other Olympians who said, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, there was some question marks about the tardiness that I started swimming. But again, I was surrounded by water. You know, if you live in Florida, water is part of the fabric of our community. It's part of who we are. And so I grew up on Lake Eloise in Winter Haven, Florida. My parents water skied for Cypress Gardens. They would take the boat across the lake every day to
Esther
go to work.
Williams pool at Cypress Gardens.
Well, I've had Esther Williams in our home before.
Oh my
God.
I
mean, when I was a baby, I don't remember.
Little Tarzan time down there too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
that is so major.
Even though I started competitively late, I still was part of the water growing up, and that's why I learned how to swim when I was young. I learned how to water ski when I was 4 or 5 years old. So it's always been a part of my life. So it's a little misleading to say that I just started as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And technically, I guess I did, but much led up to that.
Well, if we think back to the day, I mean, the first named swimmer that I know of is Johnny Weissmiller.
Sure.
That was a long time ago.
Buster Crabbe, Johnny Weissmiller,
there you go.
Don Scholin, or Mark Spitz. Those are the
there
names
you go.
that
well, yeah. Well, Mark Spitz was a 72 Olympics.
Yeah,
is that right?
That's right.
He swam up to the 80. Did he swim in the 80 Olympics?
No, he retired after 72.
He had 7. He's a 7-time.
7 gold, 7 world records, and 1 Olympics.
Wow.
until Michael Phelps came along and beat him.
That's amazing. But
even Michael didn't even break 8 world records. He won 8 gold medals, but he only seven world records.
You guys set the
and 8 gold
record.
medals, yeah.
You set the bar high.
Now Phelps is pretty tall. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's 6'4", maybe 6'5", but he's got a wingspan that you were talking about that's like 6'8" or 6'9". So he's got long arms, a long trunk, long torso, but short legs. So those are all things that are perfect. Big hands, big feet.
You 6'1"?
6'1".
6'1"-ish?
I used to be 6'1".
Well,
we
used
shrink
to be,
a little bit.
I used to be 5'10", so I'm pretty sure I'm not 5'10" anymore. I fit in my truck very much. A lot easier today than I used to be.
6'1", yeah.
About 6'1". When you start looking at,
and I was big, dude. When I was swimming, I was considered one of the big guys. Not the biggest. There were guys that were bigger than me, but I was pretty big. And now you look at the event that I swam in, the sprints, the 150 freestyle. No guy is less than 6'4", 6'5".
so what was your daily training like in the pool? Did you do weights?
Did weights, did a little dry land work, but it involved anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day, somewhere between 6 and 10 miles of actual swimming a day, 6 days a week, 50 out of 52 weeks a year. We got a week off in the spring, a week off in the fall. Otherwise, it's a year-round sport.
Now, how did it react on your skin? I mean, if you're in the pool for 5-6 hours at a time. Pardon me?
Love it.
Your skin loved it?
Oh, man. More chlorine, the better.
The more chlorine, the better. Well.
It's like that movie, Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. I love the smell of chlorine in the morning. Well, I don't take a shower. I take showers. Trust me, I take 2 a day, but I don't take a shower after I swim because I just love the chlorine on my skin.
Well, was it 8 years ago? Where were the Olympics 8 years ago? They were building. They were calling the pool. Obviously,
2008 would be Beijing.
Beijing. Okay, so
the cube.
Okay, the pools there. They were talking about the little change in technology. See, we do saltwater pools.
Right.
They make chlorine, and everything is done through ORP, oxidation reduction potential. That's how we're making chlorine based on the resistance in the water. And I tell people they sit here and go, "Well, all right, 4 parts chlorine is too much." Over there, you were swimming 10 parts chlorine. That was the level they were trying to maintain. It's not.
And is that because of the number of bodies in the water?
Well, think about it, man. I mean, how many on a given day in one single pool? How many bodies would go in that pool throughout the day? Right. I mean, 100 different times. You're not showering before you go in. You're rinsing off, if any. You're rinsing off when you get out.
Most people don't.
Okay, but your body naturally persists. Body we call. I got to clean the word up a little bit. We emit body parts. From our body. We call those.
That's gross.
It is, but we have natural body oils that come off. We have natural body oils come off. I'm pretty sure you're not using cream rinse in your hair or moisturizing creams. No, but we have fabric softeners, laundry stuff. So all that goes in the pool. So then we've got to burn that off, and that's what shocking does. It burns off that chlorine smell. So, but swimming in 10 parts chlorine was not unusual. But maintaining a perfect pH is key. You're a swimmer. Do you know what the pH in your eyes is by any chance?
No.
Okay, 7.5. 7.5. See, Rob knows that. So we maintain a 7.5 pH in the pool. At 7.4 and 78 degrees, our chemicals are now 100% effective. So that's what we try to maintain, a 7.4 pH.
You like 78. That's a little chilly.
It is, but that's the natural standard. Like when they do aviation, it's all based out of Indiana. There's a mean temperature and a mean altitude. 407-282-4911. Please visit us at tcwaterfeatures.com. Like us on Facebook. That is, again, TC Water Features, where amazing things can happen in your backyard.
Don't forget about the Pool Fanatic Pool Service Company, 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. Give us a call. You want to talk to a celebrity? Hey, he's right here in the studio. Really, he's right here. This is an amazing day. And you can also ask Tony about any pool questions, anything that's bothering you. Again, if you look in the backyard and it looks like that swimming pool should be a universal ride or something like that, hey, give us a call, 844-220-0965, asking the experts on News 96.5. Hey, we're asking the experts all weekend long. Don't forget, Monday morning, bright and early, 5 o'clock, Joe Kelly will bring the entire weekend's events, and there's been a bunch of them, and there's a lot more to go. all the way to 5 o'clock on a Monday morning with Orlando's only all-news morning show, News 96.5. Call the Pool Fanatic Show right now at 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. Back to Tony Caruso, and what a special guest. How about a reintroduction halfway through the show?
Well, I'm absolutely blown away to have our three-time Olympic gold medal. Too many golds, man. What do you do with all that gold, Mr. Rowdy Gaines? How you doing?
No silvers, no bronzes, just gold.
Just gold. I love it. You know, I was blessed 4 weeks ago to be inducted into the Florida Swimming Pool Association Hall of Fame. I was also named Director of the Year. And that's honored and blessed that my entire family was there to do that. But one of the other things that I got to do was to present a check to Rowdy Gaines for the YMCA for $10,000. That check came from the Central Florida chapter of the Florida Swimming Pool Association. Rowdy, tell me and tell our listeners out here, what's that $10,000 going to do for children?
Well, it's going to save lives, first of all.
Okay.
You know, drowning is an epidemic in our country, Tony.
It is.
You know that. We've talked about it at the very beginning. It's something that's really a huge problem. It's the second leading cause of accidental death in children 14 years of age and younger. Florida leads the nation in drowning deaths. And African Americans are 5 times more likely to drown than Caucasian children. So it's something that is a real problem in our country. And I think a lot of people don't really know a lot about. So we're trying to educate people. And the YMCA is trying to do something about it. I've been with the Central Florida YMCA now for a couple years. And one of my missions is to try to eradicate drowning in our area. Will we ever be able to do it? Maybe not. But it's certainly my mission and my goal. And that money, thankfully, will be able to help teach children how to be safer in the water. No way that anybody can be completely safe in the water.
Right.
I want to make sure that's very clear. But we can make and help children be safer in the water, and that's what's critical.
Okay, so what is tell everybody what that money's going to do. How can anybody take advantage of that donation that was made for the program itself?
That money will go directly into our Safety Around Water a Week, which is going to be held April 25th through the 29th. It's the last week of April. Every single YMCA, and we have 27 of them in the Central Florida Association, will be giving away free swim lessons the entire week.
So if a child came on Monday, could they come back on Tuesday?
Absolutely. They can come any day. They don't have to come Monday. You know, say you got soccer Tuesday and Thursday, you can come Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Every single day of that week, we will have free swim lessons. They're half-hour swim lessons. They will introduce the child to water. In many cases, we have a lot of outreach-wise. We have 6 or 7 outreach-wise. So it's in those types of communities that really need it. But it doesn't matter what Y it is. Every single Y will be teaching those free swim lessons. So it costs money to teach lessons.
Right.
We will definitely have volunteers. We've got great YMCA volunteers and advocates, but we also need teachers, and we have to pay those teachers. So a lot of that, some of it will go to the actual, we're going to have free giveaways. We're going to have, a little goodie bag that kids will be able to get. We're not sure what's going to go in those goodie bags yet. We're still seeking donations, but, swim caps or towels or something of that effect. Coloring books. We've talked about putting coloring books in there, but that money will directly help children learn how to swim, or at least learn how to be safer in the water.
Okay, so how do people how do people get signed up for it, or how do people attend? Or
it's really very simple. All you have to do is find out which YMCA is closest to you. If you live in Lake Mary, you know that the Lake Mary YMCA is the YMCA that's going to be close to where you live. You Google YMCA nearest my location. It'll come up with a YMCA near your location. You call them, or you go down there directly. You can sign up for those swim lessons. It's that easy. There's no website. We've talked about trying to do it online and everything, and we found the simplest way is because you wouldn't put your kid in a car without a seatbelt. Right. So why would you live in Florida? If we lived in Montana, you and I would not be having this conversation. But we live in Florida, for crying out loud.
Right.
So you would not live in Florida without teaching your children how to be safer in the water. So it's not that difficult to find a YMCA and call them. You can call and actually put your name down.
There you go.
On the list to be able to take those swim lessons, and then you go down.
About how many swim lessons would be a direct relationship to that donation?
It's going to end up, that $10,000 will teach about 1,000 swim lessons.
Okay.
Boy.
And are there
about 1,000 swim lessons to about 1,000 children.
Okay, so here's another question: are there other?
We hope to reach 10,000 children.
Okay, were there other companies that donated money for this particular week as well?
Yeah.
So when you
We've
put
got
all
some
of,
great partners,
when you put all of this together,
through,
right?
And obviously, FSPA. We wouldn't be able to reach 1,000 kids if FSPA hadn't come through, the Central Florida chapter. Quite frankly, those 1,000 kids would have missed out because there are limits to how many kids we can take.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I want to thank my board members for doing this. First, I want to thank Sonia Dickey for starting
Sonia
this.
was
a
rock star.
Right, the golf outing only generated $3,000. Okay, so and I'm the president of the association, so I said, you know what, let's double that. Let's make it $6,000. Then our executive director on the other line says, you know what, let's become a gold member. Gold member? Was that a movie? Never
Close.
mind.
That's right. Austin Powers.
There you go.
Remake it.
So she said, make it 10,000, and the board's looking. You know, Central Florida chapter is it's the most active chapter in the state of Florida.
Wow.
So we all approved it. It was Steve Bloodsworth.
Steve was
Alan Cooper.
Alan. You're
Ken Brown. Ben Evans. Richard Smith, Remo Earl, Paul Rolfe, Colleen Salvage, Sean King, Mike Dooley. I'm thinking I got them all. I kind of do it in my email. If it wasn't for them, and of course Sonia, we would not have had the 10,000. So it was once she said, let's make it to 10,000, it was real simple. So we got a motion. Do we have a second? Any discussion? Zero discussion. Motion passed. 10 grand. Done like that. So at the Design Awards,
that's right.
First time I met you.
That's right.
I mean, we've acted like we've known each other for a while because
we eat sushi together.
There you go. You're just one of those easy people to talk to, and you have to because you're a personality, because you're exposed to the media way more. You can't see who I am here, but you can see who this guy is.
Unfortunately,
well, no,
like
I don't know about.
I have a face for radio, but unfortunately, I will be seen quite a bit this summer in Rio.
Well, I presented. You know, you come up on stage with me, presented a check for $10,000, had a smile on my face. I couldn't believe I'm with this Olympic gold medalist, you know, never meeting you before, and then walking on stage, 10 grand, bam, right to YMCA. What a blessing. And I promise you something else. This is going to happen again. We're going to do this golf tournament again. It's going to double and maybe even double the kitty again till we get maybe 2,000 lessons out of it. So in Florida, we have 1,800 miles of ocean shoreline.
Wow.
We have 7,700 lakes and streams. We do not know how many retention ponds are in the state of Florida. We have
I never knew that stat.
1.2 million swimming pools in the state of Florida. That does not include spas or wading pools. Right. There's 37,000 commercial pools and spas in the state of Florida. So if we look at the country as a whole, we have 10 million pools. If we go up to, is it Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes, water, this earth is covered by 71% ballpark of water. Right. We were born to swim. There's no excuse. If you don't have the ability for someone to teach you to swim, call the Central Florida chapter of the FSPA. Call my office. I will help you get swimming lessons. We're involved in the world's largest swimming lesson. That comes up in June.
That's awesome. I'm a part of that every year.
There you go. Well, you know what? Which brings me to a comment. When we were down at Celebration 2 years ago, one of the instructors, and this just blew me away, he says, kids, think about this. Think about your hands being an ice cream scoop. Cup your hand, put it in front of your arm, and pull back. Take the next ice cream scoop and put it in your hand and pull it back. And do it as you're eating ice cream. Because at that motion, when you swim, do you partially cup your hand?
I relax. The key is you don't want to force your hands into any position. You just want to relax. And sometimes when I swim, my hands are cupped a little bit and my fingers are apart. My fingers are not squeezed together.
So you do that for less resistance. Is that correct? Because if you put your fingers together, are you creating more resistance? Is it a comfort issue for you? And everybody swims differently.
Everybody swims differently. It's totally a comfort situation for me. I'm more comfortable in the water when I'm relaxed, and I swim faster when I'm relaxed. So if my hands are relaxed in the water, when I take that actual pull, I'm tight on the water, but my fingers are relaxed and sometimes spread apart a little bit.
Okay, so that allows you to
grip more water in the way that I know how to grip that water.
And who taught you to swim? I mean, question is, when you
My
went
parents
to when you
taught
went to college, were you already had a natural act you had a natural act for being able to swim, correct?
Right.
Teachers kind of refined what you were doing, or just
The coaches certainly refined. Absolutely. I mean, when I was in high school, I was swimming 3,000 yards a day, and when I got to college, I went from 3,000 to 15 to 20,000 yards a day.
wow,
So it's a big difference. But it's just, it's the same thing with education. You go to high school and you go to college, it's a completely different format.
Well, the FSPA also has a swim meet in the state.
That's right.
It was in
A high
Central
school
Florida
meet,
for
yep.
years and years and years and years. Now it's down in Jupiter. It's probably
We're trying to get it back to the YMCA Aquatic Center. We want it back.
I'm pretty sure it's going to come back here.
We hoped it one day it will be.
Because
it should be in Orlando because we're right in the middle of the state.
why not? I mean, we
Absolutely.
bring schools down here. I always remember bowls.
Yeah.
What a top
Jacksonville.
and
Incredible.
Father
Lauderdale.
Lopez.
Yep.
These are top swimming schools. I'm not just throwing those out, but they're top swimming schools in the state. And when you bring in 2,000 kids, and they're popping. I mean, all we're doing as being FSPA members is we're scorekeeping. All we're doing is backing up the time on the wall. And I always love this. You're going, you hear it, you see the strobe, boom, down goes the clock, and you're trying to compare your clock to what the board says and see how close to the thousands or hundreds you can get it to.
Done that a million times.
I do it all the time, and it was like, I was pretty good with that one. Reaction's pretty good. We're moving along. So that was always a blessing to do. 407-282-4911. Please visit us at TC Water Features. Visit us on Facebook, TC Water Features, where amazing things can happen in your backyard, because I know we'll be back, right, Rob?
We're going to be back. Tony Caruso's with us. Rowdy Gaines is with us. His lovely wife is in studio. We've got it all. We've got Chris, the producer, and we got crazy TV shows going on in here as well. Hey, we're going to take a break. Don't forget, coming up 6 o'clock, the experts continue, and they go all day tomorrow right here on News 96.5 WDBO. Okay, we're down to the lightning round right now.
No
on the
lightning
Pool
today,
Fanatic
Rob.
Show. Yeah, no lightning and no pools. Here we go. We're down to the last 6 minutes on the Pool Fanatic Show. A great show. I've been getting a bunch of texts from our listeners, and they're just going crazy. We got Rowdy Gaines in here, one of the greatest Olympians of all times.
Without a doubt.
God.
Rowdy, I got a bummed up knee and a bummed up shoulder, and I can't go to rehab.
Go to the pool, baby.
Why?
Well, because it's so there's no impact in the pool. As we get older, our joints become much more brittle, and the swimming is a stress-free environment.
Does that start at a certain age when it become brittle? No, I'm only teasing, man.
It's
how you take care of yourself.
It's when you move to the villages.
I used to play basketball. You can ask my wife. I used to play. I loved to play basketball. I wasn't any good, but I played pickup basketball at the Y and stuff. And about 10 years ago, I had to stop because it just took its toll physically on me.
So when you went in the pool to exercise, what kind of pain did you have?
None. Well,
I got it.
But there's very little chance of injury in the pool if you do the mechanics right and you try to take a swim lesson or join a master's team or even do water aerobics. My wife taught water aerobics for years, and she can tell you some of the not only elderly but a lot of women and men. Because it's such a stress-free environment, they've got great exercise, and the water is a perfect place to do it.
And you could also gain muscle from doing that.
Sure.
You can get knee strength,
Absolutely.
quad, ham, calf, shoulder, bicep, tricep.
It's every muscle in the body. That's why it's when you go swimming for the first time, it takes. I mean, I know guys that are like marathoners, and they get in the water and they can't swim 2 laps without being out of breath because it's a completely different environment. You're stressing, technically, quote unquote, stressing different muscles in your body, so it's a different kind of feel. But you're getting a great workout.
So here's a question: if I go swimming for a while and I go out and play golf tomorrow, will I be sore?
Probably. You're probably going to be sore when you first swim. I swim every day, so I don't know that feeling of being sore at the day after. But if you haven't swum in a while, it's just like going out for a run. If you haven't run, you're going to be sore the next day.
How about sweating?
Well, you just said it. You sweat in the water. I mean, we used to go through a lot of water during practices. When you're swimming 10, 15, 20,000 yards a day, we consumed a mass amount of liquid.
So you were swim, get out, hydrate,
Just during. I mean, we'd have it on the side of the pool.
Right.
You couldn't get out.
You couldn't. Oh, you couldn't get out.
It wasn't getting out of anything.
You
got out of the water only to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, there was no getting out to get water.
So what's the coldest water you've had to swim in, competition-wise?
On my honeymoon, we were in Gatlinburg in Elkmont, Tennessee, and we jumped in the water there. Or I think I did. I don't know if Judy did. I don't think she did. But I jumped in the water, and it was about 40 degrees probably.
Why?
Just because it was there,
And I'm
right?
just thinking,
because I could.
I'm just thinking of the timing of the whole event, too. The honeymoon?
Well, I got a question. When you jumped in, did you go,
I did yell, shrinkage!
George.
But the water was cold. Okay?
George.
The water was cold. I like it, man. I like it. The coldest water I've been in is 34 degrees.
Oh.
Good.
It literally takes your breath away, right?
Yeah. I was in there for
obviously.
right about 5.5 minutes. I thought I actually was going to die. Yeah, I was in a...
That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous. It wasn't intentional.
Was that by choice?
No. It was in Alaska when we were on a glacier flow, and my brother-in-law decided he wanted to flip the canoe over.
Gosh.
So not good. So as I floated out and I'm telling you, the whole time I'm going... So people don't realize you can actually get hypothermia in 75-degree pool water.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in it long enough, you sure can. That's how.
So you kind of warm up before you do this. You're kind of moving all the wings and all the body muscles to kind of get them loosened up and then get them warmed up. Is that correct?
I try to stretch as much as possible. I'm not very good at stretching, just because I feel like the water helps me stretch. Judy, my wife, is trying to get me to stretch more before and after I get in the water.
Okay, so in about 2.5 months, you are going to go to Puerto Rico. What for?
Going to Puerto Rico to be with the U.S. Olympic team once they make the team in Omaha, Nebraska at the end of June. I'll be down there for 3 or 4 days to kind of hang out with the team, and then we all go together to Rio.
And then what are you going to do in Rio?
We'll be doing my 7th Olympic Games for broadcasting for NBC.
And that's for NBC, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be on there with that famous guy, Dan Hicks,
Hicks, my great friend,
Yeah.
a good guy, just a wonderful human being, and as NBC's golf anchor, and just a great guy. And we'll be calling our 6 games together.
6 games. So, I'm honored. I truly am honored to have you on this show today.
Honored to be with you, Tony.
No.
One last thing quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you again, and FSPA, Sonia, everybody.
You're very welcome.
I can't begin to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all.
Well, we got about 58 seconds, and it's just going to wrap this up. So what we're going to do is, TC Water Features, family-owned and operated business. We build pool spas, fountains, waterfalls, water features, outdoor kitchens, outdoor lighting, batting cages, putting greens, bocce ball courts. Well, we done, Rob? We do fireplaces. We do LED lighting. We do salt injection, pH injection. We're Energy Star company. We do variable speed technology. 70% of your energy bill can be saved by going to variable speed technology. We put quad cartridge filters in. Why? To reduce the amount of time it takes between cleaning cycles. We also have an amazing pool service company. Why do we do that? Because we treat your pool just like it's ours. And that's the beauty of being in this trade for 35 plus years. We're going to continue to stay in this trade. 407-282-4911. Visit TC Water Features. Amazing things can happen in your backyard. We'll be back next week.
News is next, right here on News 96.5 WDBO.